All right.
Hi, my name is Leilani. My subject today is spanking children. The central idea will be spanking children is not good a form of punishment and discipline. So what is physical punishment? According to Gershoff's Physical Punishment by Parents Associated Child Behaviors and Experiences, he states, physical punishment has been defined as the use of physical force with the intention of causing child to experience bodily pain or discomfort so as to correct or punish the child's behavior. This includes spanking, hitting, pinching, squeezing, paddling, whipping, and so on. Behaviors that cause pain but not physical injury are considered physical punishment, whereas behaviors that risk physical injury are termed physical abuse. So the first point I'm going to make is hitting children teaches them to become hitters themselves. Research showed a direct correlation between corporal punishment in childhood and aggressive or violent behavior in teenage years and adult years. So according to Gershoff's report on physical punishment in the United States, it states physical punishment is a serious public health problem in the United States and affecting the mental health of children and the society which we live in. Studies show that approximately 65% of adults in the United States approve of physical punishment, and about 50% of families use physical punishment to discipline their children. Adults who have been subjected to physical punishment as children are more likely to abuse their own child or spouse and to manifest criminal behavior. When no other means of discipline works to teach the child a lesson, a parent oftentimes chooses to spank or hit the child. People believing that corporal punishment is just okay will justify that spanking is an effective solution where other methods fail. Children misbehave, and sometimes they believe that their actions are acceptable because they were not punished for it. With this, children will not be able to learn proper behavior. When a child was hit by a parent, he begins to realize the distinction between acceptable and unacceptable behavior. This will also teach a child that every action has its own consequence. Good actions will earn him rewards, and while bad actions will earn him punishments. Although some may think this method is good, research done by the APSSAA, American Psychoanalytic Association, can sustain that children who received a punishment may very well develop aggressiveness in their teen and adult years. Almost all criminals have been punished and threatened while they were young. A child develops behaviors and attitudes based on what he observes from their parents, regardless if they're good or bad. Parents then should set visual examples for their children on wisdom, empathy, not thoughtlessness, and cruelty. So my second point is, moderate spanking can be physically and emotionally dangerous. When a child is spanked, this is child abuse. When you spank your children, they both feel physical and emotional pain. To understand why spanking is wrong, first, importantly, we have to understand what is child abuse. What is child abuse? Child abuse occurs when a caretaker inflicts physical injury by hitting, punching, beating, kicking, throwing, biting, burning, or otherwise harming a child. Caretakers are not only referred to as mom or dad. Caretakers can also include aunts, uncles, grandparents, and foster parents. According to Havlin, also alcohol and drugs are also tied to abuse. Studies show that 1 in 3 cases of child abuse occurs when an abuser is drinking. Spanking causes emotional trauma on a child. A spanking that is done for punishment is actually doing the child more harm. A recent study involving hundreds of students showed that the more a child was spanked, the lower his or her IQ compared to others by 2.8 points. Children who are spanked by caretakers have a traumatic experience. This traumatic stress affects the brain. Trauma could have kids to have more stressful response in difficult situations, and so many not perform as well cohesively. Caretakers who are using responses in difficult situations, and so many not perform well. The only thing that spanking will do for a child is to stop one behavior that a caretaker doesn't like. Even relatively moderate spanking can be physically dangerous. Blows to the lower end of the spinal column send shock waves along the length of the spine and may injure the child. That's what Jan Hunt said in her novel, Why Do My Parents Hit Me? While spanking may relieve a parent's frustration and stop misbehavior briefly, According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, the researchers suggest that spanking may be the least effective discipline method to test the hypothesis that research surveyed parents with assumptions that if spanking worked, children who were spanked would learn to behave better over time so that they would need punishing less frequently. However, the results showed that the families who start spanking before the children are a year old are just likely to spank their four-year-old children as often as families who do not spank until later. Thus, children appear not to be learning lessons parents are trying to teach them by spanking. Spanking may be ineffective because it does not teach an alternative behavior. In fact, children usually feel resentful, humiliated, and helpless after being spanked. The primary lesson they learn appears to be that they should try harder not to get caught. One reason parents spank is that they are not aware of effective strategies for changing children's undesirable behavior. To be effective, discipline that is appropriate for a child's age should be ineffective methods are often based on unrealistic expectations about what children are capable of learning. Parents may find the following age-appropriate discipline suggestions useful alternatives to spanking. So I'm going to give you a few suggestions for all ages. In Rubin's novel, The 10 Reasons Not to Hit Your Kids, he states, the suggestions are support good behavior, hugs and praise will go a long way. Try an ounce of prevention. Effective discipline means announcing clear, simple family rules, the fewer, the better, at the time when the children are calm and listening. Try to understand the feeling behind your child's actions. Ask older children, why are they angry? When infants cry, ask yourself, does she want to be held? Is her diaper wet? Is she hungry? Share your change of heart. If you have spanked your children in the past, but you decided to stop, talk to your children about your decision. This lesson can be valuable for you and your whole family. In conclusion, the question of whether or not parents should spank their children is not easy to answer. However, spanking is only one of the factors that needs to be considered in the overall discipline process. In deciding how to discipline their children, parents should ask first, what do I want to accomplish? If the answer is, teach my children how to make good choices on their own, spanking may not be an issue. Thank
Well, everybody seems to be having kind of different issues on their speeches, so that's helpful because I get to talk about a variety of things that are going on. I think, let's start with the strong stuff on your speech. You've got a lot of good evidence in the presentation. You're consistent in citing the sources for the most part. I'm not sure, you referred to a couple of the books that you were quoting as novels. I'm not sure that they're novels. They don't sound like novels. A novel's a piece of fiction. It's unlikely, for instance, that the one that you mentioned, 10 Reasons Not to Spank or something like that, that doesn't sound like a novel at all to me. That's got to be some other type of text. So be careful about that terminology. But I thought that you did a good job trying to cite authoritative opinion on this, give us some credibility for the people that you were citing there, and you were pretty consistent in citing that information. I do think, for instance, more information would strengthen the argument a little bit more. The closest that you got to quantifying something was the IQ changes that are related to spanking. So I think that helps you a little bit. If you could have some more things like that, that would be great. The presentation, you're doing a little more reading than you might want to, but that's because I think you're very dependent on the amount of evidence that you have. So it could be practiced a little bit more so that you talk to us a little bit more. But like I said, I wouldn't sacrifice the content of the evidence to improve the presentation. Now, a couple of places that there are problems. The proposition at the beginning of the speech has a negative term in it, so it's not really working the way it's supposed to do. There's no preview of what the supporting structure is going to be. That's problematic from the listener's point of view, so you want to make sure to do that, lay out at the beginning of the speech what the structure is going to be. Same sort of thing. I thought that you had a little bit of a summary at the end, so if you can do that at the end of the speech, you should be able to do that at the beginning of the presentation also. The signposting in the body of the speech was actually pretty good. like I said, it's not that it was impossible to follow, it's just that you need to help us a little bit more, especially at the beginning of the presentation. Yeah, okay, thank you.